Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back. She's all smiles because the dogs are on our laps here. And they're just snuggled up as, you know, it's, as we shared with you guys, it's an old house that we're restoring. So, you know, it's been pretty cold lately, and we're waking up in the 50s here. But hey, we're doing things slowly as we can, and we want to thank our Patreons for their help because they are literally keeping us warm.
Thank you so much, and Rama and Sita too.
Absolutely. So much happening. Security alert, Duke Power Plant. It's a nuclear power plant, by the way. After a man rammed into the gate, tried to hit multiple security guards, shots fired. This is in South Carolina, Oconee County. 2002 Toyota Camry. Now they described the driver as a white man. You know, it's going to happen, but it's curious because they're always looking to see, is this like some sort of cell activation, or is this random MK craziness going on, or, you know, what exactly is this? Because you're going to just see more and more of these.
I really think we are. I think this is a lot of testing that's going on to begin with to see how things... I really feel like they're putting out pulsing sensations toward people who are easily activated to see. This feels like testing cells to me, really.
I think so. And again, the one thing you'll never see is they'll never tell you whether ouch or not.
Right.
You know, and it'll just say random acts of violence. We need to stop all the bloodshed. Why do citizens need guns? Well, you know, again, citizens, according to Thomas Jefferson and some of the founding fathers, you know, the main reason citizens need guns is if the government gets tyrannical. Have we seen any of that?
No, not at all.
Jordanian national arrested in Houston, allegedly planning attack on Jews. And so he was studying how to build bombs, posted about his support for, the situation going on over in Gaza. You know, if this is obviously all about dividing. And it's all about distracting because the world is awakening to the bigger picture. So what do? They go back to plan A, which is make sure that they are fighting themselves so they don't notice the controller manipulation. So again, that's Houston. Here you have a Chinese national, Ting Yi, fled to China after crashing a Porsche, killing one, traveling 100 miles an hour in Seattle, Washington. And, you know, unlikely they will be extradited back to the U.S. What they were doing, who knows? Maybe, they were just doing some illegal substances that they shouldn't be, and then driving exceedingly fast, endangering everybody in the whole area. Yes, again, don't drink and drive, and don't use any other crazy substances. But you'll never hear your doctor say, don't nanu and drive now.
Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate, but true. And that's happening more and more and more. So it's just another way that the organized crime can get done whatever they need to do under the guise of, oh, this is healthy for you.
And make note, again, of how it's described. Pro-Hamas Jordanian. It's all divide and conquer. And it's really painful, honestly, to see how clear this divide and conquer is. You know, those that are awake and not automatically, instinctively, reflexively taking a side because of your religious programming. And that's just the way it is. And we'll keep staying it the way it is, forever, because we're never going to become, in our mind's eye, part of the problem by just, again, picking a side. That's the last thing we should do. We got to take a step back and look and say, this is all completely manufactured. So this big speech from Hezbollah's leader, during it he made some key points. The U.S. is controlling the war in Gaza. It's the U.S. that must pay the price for the crimes perpetrated by Israelis in Gaza. And here we have another person giving an opinion that Islamic lands that were occupied by the West, which includes Spain, Andalusia, was occupied Muslim land. Well, at one time it was, again, but one time before that it wasn't. And then again, we could go back farther when everybody was basically quote unquote pagan. And the maps always change. They just utilize religion, politics, ethnicities, tribal issues to keep us constantly fighting ourselves. So we won't say the problem is the control system. The problem is the political structure. Absolutely. So is this hinting of jihad? Yeah, it is. It is hinting of jihad. And here we have Algeria's Jihadist parliament grants the president authority to engage in conflict with Israel. So Yemen has already declared, perhaps Algeria will declare war on Israel soon. People are taking this speech as being maybe without so much backbone, in that you see here, the Hezbollah leader says they don't have the capabilities to deliver a swift, crushing blow against Israel. They're in it for the long run. Sounds like they won't be joining a full-scale war against Israel anytime soon. And this makes so many people get complacent and say, oh, okay, so Israel will go and kill 100 or 1,000, 10,000 times the amount of people that they lost, and then it's going to all go back into normal. Nah, it's not going back to normal this time because they have agendas to meet. Namely 2025, they put out there that they're looking to lose 500 to 600 million people from the NATO countries in 14 months. How do you think that's going to happen? Well, devastating preemptive strike by the BRICS companies could possibly do just that. And meanwhile, we see irregularities. And again, if we weren't thinking about saving our lives because of the impending WW3, we might look up more. We might get more people to look up and say, those clouds, that's a weird pattern. Do you hear the harps playing? Ah, yes. And do you think this is natural? Hell no. Yeah, why is it always overpopulated areas? Why do they like to do big X's over little towns? Because we've seen it. I mean, we've traveled all over this country, and we've seen it. We've seen none, very, very few, if any, out in unpopulated areas, but you get to a town of even 1,000, and you'll find X's. Yeah, this is a bigger program going on. It's multi-leveled, as Cindy was saying yesterday. They like to accomplish more than one objective with one operation.
Well, it's just like anybody who wants to find a good sale. You want the biggest bang for your buck. So whatever you decide to pull off, you want to make sure there's 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 other things that you can get done at the same time. And they really are professionals at it. So, gosh, taking care of yourself, so important right now.
It is. And we laugh about it, and it is all right there, as Rob Schneider is saying. It's like, how stupid do we have to be? I mean, they tell us all these things, and then we're not going to put it together. Well, some do, but then again, it may be that us in NATO countries are literally scrambling and ducking, from the shots and the bombs and the rockets ourselves soon. And there's more than just Matthew Perry that died. There are at least, how many? Oh, here's 33 more. I wonder if they knew that they did that. 33. Code. It goes on and on. Actually, the amount of people leaving the planet is massive. A massive, massive, massive amount. Massive. And here we go. There's a statement here. The Balfour Declaration expired on October 31st, 2023. Israel registered themselves as a corporate entity in 1947. You can't register a corporation twice under the same name in 2023 after 70 plus years and it be accepted. Israel as a corporation has expired. China has removed Israel from their maps. The last thing for Israel to do is wage a great war. Netanyahu will be removed. Those who defended the Rothschild state of Israel are now in the light, the spotlight. November to remember. Again, the Balfour Declaration, November 2nd, 1917. So that was 106 years ago yesterday. There's so much out there that will sound crazy, and sometimes it is just wrong. Sometimes, the information that goes out there is wrong. Sometimes there's basis in truth, though, to things as well. As you see, many people are talking about this from multiple different sources, and of course we get fact checks that say there is no Balfour lease for Israel. It's a sovereign nation, etc., etc. Again, it's one reason for existence, according to an 1871 declaration by Albert Pike, was to bring about this Third World War. And yeah, absolutely, it is true that we just had the 106th anniversary, and what it led to was the removal of the people that were living on certain land. They had to pack up and get their butts out of there. That's not nice. But this is exactly, again, what happened to the indigenous people in the Americas. It's happened all over the world, and it's happened time and time again, even in history that we do not have anywhere at all written down in our past. 3 corporations run the world: the City of London, Washington, D.C., and Vatican City. Be interesting to check, see if Beijing is Beijing Inc. 2, or maybe Abu Dhabi. Again, it feels that the banking center of the world and the headquarters of the world itself, well, when you look back to it, why did the Anunnaki settle in the Middle East? Because they're centering themselves among the world's land masses to be in the most central spot where they can influence things the best. Yes, they did spread out, and they ended up basically imposing their system on the entire world. And they are still in the shadows, as we have shared with you guys. And they do plan on openly coming back and dazzling humanity with their skills and parlor tricks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what they do. And they do it very, very well, because they have all the notes on how to do it from all the previous times that the controllers took control. So it's definitely not something easy that we are working with, but we will get there.
And then, of course, you have your city on 7 hills, which is in the book of Revelation, and Babylon. And, coincidentally, London, D.C., Vatican City, Rome, they're all on 7 hills as well. So, Babylon the Great, is it saying the wiping out of this system in order to install a new system? Well, what the new system really is it's a one world order that's ruled by them. That's the big reveal. And they have all these agendas, worked out really to openly hand off power again to the ones that describe themselves to us as we are the gods of your Old Testament and your older history there, the old elder gods. Yeah. 3 corporations again. That is true, and the system works in this way. And yet, the system that we had is going to be a little different than the system that we are heading to, in that there's just not going to be as much illusion. And this is what they're telling you when they say you own nothing. And when they say, own nothing, literally, you're going to have to rent new pants, rent new underwear, rent a new toothbrush. It's basically telling you, openly, you are a slave. You're a slave. Yes, we've been in the money slavery system. And we're all basically indentured servants to a degree, and kind of willfully, because this is how they get us to choose to do things. Isn't it curious? The United States became a foreign corporation in what year? 1871 again. 1871 again, that same year as Albert Pike supposedly made that statement, which, some have said was debunked. But yeah, they've debunked everything. But, I don't think they've really given an official explanation in debunking the excess deaths that we see and the declining fertility rate and declining life expectancy. This is a really good question. How can a man who could hit a deer at 250 yards keep missing the toilet? Well, a lot of times we can't see what's straight and right in our face, and what we take for granted every single day, we don't even think about it. You don't even think about the luxury of having a toilet per se. But yet, why don't we find a whole bunch of toilets in mansions that are, very ancient? And that's a question that, like Mind Unveiled is a fun channel to go deep diving in, because they love to go down this road, of why would you have a mansion that might be, 50,000 square feet, 100,000 square foot mansion with one bathroom. Wait a minute. Well, it was different. People used to pee in pots and poop in pots and then dump them in the middle of the, when the sun came up. Yeah, but there's a lot more that changes with the cycles of the yugas. Is it safe to come out yet? Well, I don't know. You might want to close that door a little bit longer. Somebody had said, so what are we going to do if the NATO nations are conquered? What are we supposed to do? Just roll over? What they want you to do is to fight. What we need to do is somehow make the system meaningless. And the system will be meaningless for a certain portion of humanity. And it's going to be a portion of humanity that just recognizes that the system's a problem, because there will be a great divide at some point. We will break off from the system those that can do without, the laptops, the smartphones, the technologies that are so created to entrap us.
Mm-hmm. There's it is difficult to think, like, what are we supposed to do, when we're taking over? Do we just roll over? Because people, we're so indoctrinated, we can't even perceive what it would be like to be free. If you could think about what would you do with your life, with yourself, if it weren't for the fact you had to make money to pay for this or pay for that, pay for your schooling, make your mortgage, feed the kids, what would you do with your time? And really, that's something that people have to sit down and think about, because they don't know. They don't know right off the bat. They have to really think, well, what do I enjoy? What could I do if it were not for money? But this is a time when I feel we move into 5D, everyone is going to be in a symbiotic state. So people will be working off of each other in a way that's complementary to everyone. It's not going to necessarily be a cash money exchange. It's going to be something very, very different, very uplifting, very, very symbiotic. But I think that's a fun thought, for those who just aren't sure, sit and ponder that. What would you do if you didn't have to make money? I mean, there's a whole world out there. Maybe make a list. We need to start using our collective consciousness to figure these things out, so we have something to dream, so we have something to aim for.
And here you see a woman who probably doesn't have much herself, taking care of stray dogs, and this mama dog is thanking her and showing a little love, and she's showing love back. So why in the world will we come here in these times? Well, it's to test our so-called humanity. How are we going to react? Are we going to react with hatred? Or are we going to react with compassion and love? Because again, when the split comes, it's not about your dogma. It's about where is your personal frequency at. If your frequency is one of love and compassion, and you're able to ride above the storm, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. This is a temporary journey anyway. From the get-go, this is all about experiencing a very, very heavy and at times difficult 3D adventure. So keep that in mind.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.